Welcome back to another season of Top of Down Under. It's so good to have you all on board. This journey will take us deep into the Northern Territory. The land of the Never Never provides a dramatic backdrop for an unforgettable adventure. What's in it for you guys? Well, you keep telling us that you like to follow in our footsteps. So we're going to show you some remote places where you can embark on your own four-wheel drive expedition. Now, travelling in good company is always a must, and Jodie is back for another bash after her baptism of fire last season. She's rip-roaring and ready to go. Where does this journey begin? Well, right here, the Devil's Marbles. How spectacular. Located almost in the centre of Australia, north of Alice Springs and 100 kilometres south of Tennant Creek, is the Devil's Marbles. Less than a kilometre to the east of the Stuart Highway is these magnificent rock formations and campsite. So Jode, you've been doing some reading up on the Devil's Marbles. What did you find out?
Oh, yep. The formation of the marbles was from the magma. It's hardened and there's a large layer of sandstone on top of it, and it's put pressure on it, and then with the movement of the crust over millions of years, it's eventually risen up, and then all the water is washed away to form blocks.
Yeah.
And then from that it's had weathering and mechanical weathering, and it's washed away the sandstone to give it its round surfaces and washed away all the edges.
Okay. And also, it's an interesting read, the Aboriginal story.
Yeah, the Dreamtime story. That was an interesting read at the information desk.
Yeah, I might go and have a look at that. The Devil's Marbles are accessible by two-wheel drive, but just over there is a dirt track that leads to Davenport Range National Park, and we all know how I love to take you guys off the beaten track. But before we do, let me show you our camp setup for the next 8 weeks. I'll be towing a Kimberley camper for a little more luxury behind the white Nissan, which has been decked out with a few more goodies since last season. Whereas Jodie prefers not to tow and has returned with the rooftop tent combination and some new mod cons that you'll spot later in the program. With such a jam-packed series installed, it's high time to push off and hit the dirt roads. Travelling east-southeast from Devil's Marbles, some 90 kilometres, is the Davenport Range National Park and our first campsite of Whistleduck Creek. This road is dirt from the Stuart Highway turnoff and a stopover before heading to Old Policeman's Waterhole. The road is very corrugated, so I just want to see if I can smooth my ride out a bit. I'm going to drop the tyre pressures a little bit. Right, I should smooth it out a bit more. The Davenport Ranges encompass a variety of waterholes and creeks alongside it, and one of those is a place called Whistleduck. There's camping and also a swimming hole. But right here is a good vantage point to take in the ranges. This national park is surrounded by privately owned working cattle stations. So please leave the gates as you find them en route. The Whistle Duck campsites are very basic, with no facilities other than picnic tables and fireplaces. You can wet your whistle at Umunga waterhole. Now back in the day, this was a great place for the Aboriginal people. It's an excellent source of food. It even had small freshwater crabs, which they would often collect along the edges of the banks. Plenty of freshwater fish and also some small mammals that they would feed on too. The waterhole is a treat for washing off a dusty soul. After the break, we go crabbing, Central Australian style. The freshwater crabs were a favourite of the local Aboriginals from this area.
Is that a crab over there?
Oh my goodness, I think you're right, Jade. Let's see if I can grab him. Oh no, he's gone on one of these rocks. Oh, tell you what, it's hard work these Aboriginal people had to get for a feed, hey? I don't know where he is, hang on.
A lot of work for a bite-sized snack.
He's on my toe, hang on a sec. I got him!
Make it out of
Check it out. Look.
Oh,
cool. So that is full grown. They only grow to about 5 centimetres big. So that's a full grown one there. And the Aboriginal people used to actually have these as a little snack. They'd walk along the bank and pick these little guys up. Do you want to hold Jade?
Oh, sure, why not?
Your hands are shaking.
That is so creepy.
He's not so bad, is he?
I feel so weird. Woo!
He's quick, hey?
Alrighty, back home you go, I think, buddy.
Time to let him back. He doesn't want to leave you now. Come. Here he goes. Be free. Shall we keep walking, see what else we can find?
Yeah, see if there's more, man.
Yeah. Stoked for that find. So the whistling kite's pretty common here. It's like the pigeon of the outback. He gets into the thermals, just scoots around, looking for some dinner down on the ground.
That was pretty neat. I didn't think we'd find one, eh?
No. Stroke of luck or genius.
Yeah, that's gonna be a pain. So my car won't start again. This happened to me yesterday. Just gonna go grab a pen and see if we can work it out.
Okay, Jade, so what I want to check is that we've got 12 volt cranking to your starter.
Yep.
So if you want to crank the engine over, we'll check it out. Okay, so you've got 12.3 here, which is fine.
Yep.
We might actually have to check your solenoid now.
Okay. Is this a big issue? Or...
At the end of the day, worst case scenario, we'll just have to get another starter motor for you.
Incentive not to stall it?
Yeah, no, we'll be right, mate. Sort it out. Okay, Jade, I'm just going to give this a bit of a whack, so if you want to crank it over for me while I'm just giving this a bit of a tap. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to shut it down again.
Yep.
So that is a sticky solenoid.
Okay. That's easy to replace then, or?
Yeah, we might service it or replace it, either, but cool. Job done.
Awesome.
Let's roll.
So we're moving again, which is awesome. When we make camp tonight, we'll probably just give the solenoids a bit of a scrub up And that should hopefully fix the problem. If not, next time we're in town, probably just pick up a new one, and until then, give her a few whacks and we'll be moving again. Lucky to be driving with Pen, because otherwise we would have been so stuck.
We've made a slight detour between Whistleduck and Policeman's Waterhole. We've come north and we're on some private property.
And last year when we did our gun safety course, there wasn't a lot of difference between our marksmanship. So we're here to settle a score.
And whoever loses has to cook the other one dinner.
It's clay pigeons, best out of 5.
We're in a really safe environment and we're out of the national park.
So that's game on.
What we're using is a 12 gauge Stoger. It's an under and over. Loads from the bottom barrel first. Got your cartridge here, so you just pop that in.
Yep.
And then it's live.
Alrighty.
There you go, you got your ear protection, eye protection.
Certainly do.
Nice safe area.
I think we're
Good.
safe. Now I've never used a 12 gauge before, but Penny has. So I get a little practice shot just beforehand because I've got a bit of kick. And we've got a pumpkin set up and we're going to see if we can turn him into some soup. I hit him and he is gone.
You definitely didn't miss, Jode.
No, it's not quite soup, but it's definitely a powerful gun not to be messed with.
But how was the kick? Not too bad?
Yeah, it's a bit strong, but it's as long as you've got it in tight.
Yeah, it's fine. I reckon we can finish this guy off, hey?
Definitely. Show him his boss.
I don't think I could pull that shot off a second time round. Finished him off that time. We both know how this kicks now because I haven't actually used this one. It's a brand new rifle, so we both had a go.
Yep, I think it's time that we start hitting up some clays.
Okay, sounds good. You want to go first?
Sure. Yep. First hit.
By using the same person to throw for both of us, it keeps it as even as possible.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, about now I'm feeling a bit of pressure.
Go.
Woo!
Again. Go.
Top shot, Jode. Well done.
Now you don't need to buy a big fang-dangled clay thrower. You can pick this guy up for about 20 bucks from a gun store and it'll do just as good and it's a lot easier to carry around in the car.
Congratulations, Joe, you're a winner.
Thanks, Pen. So what's on the menu?
Roast veggies, roast pork with a bit of crackling.
Sounds good. I'll bring some applesauce to this too because I'm not a sore loser.
Sounds great, mate. And it's good, clean fun, isn't it?
It definitely is. And the double barrel, that's a new concept for me. So that was a bit exciting.
And I only broke one nail.
Free shoulder, but I'll live.
It's all good. With Jodie still revelling in her victory, it's time to make our way to the old policeman's waterhole and our next campsite. So there's two ways into Policeman's Waterhole. We're coming in from the southern end, that way we won't cover the same ground twice. And the sign says high clearance vehicle, so I'm hoping to lock the hubs in. The high clearance is required due to the boulder strewn track ahead. From experience, I've found that tyre pressures are a very personal thing. I'm running mine at 25 psi. Jodie's got hers at 30, so we'll see how that goes. It depends on what you're comfortable with and what brand of tyre you've got, how it performs. And I'd encourage you to have a look at your manufacturer for your vehicle or your tyre placard. My Nissan one actually says 29 for the front and 35 for the back, which is really quite interesting. The track condition is best described as demanding of your concentration. Although slow going, nothing here will cause your vehicle too much stress.
While driving these tracks, don't forget to check out the scenery because it can be pretty awesome.
Hey Jade, is that a rocky descent you've got in front of you there?
Sure is. Looks like she should be a bit of fun though. Man, I love this truck. She is so awesome.
Yeah, isn't it cool the places a four-wheel drive can take you?
Totally is. I love this job.
I tell you, I'm loving the scenery around here. Isn't it fantastic?
Hey, you still up for a dip at the end of this drive? I'm hanging out for that.
It's a bit slow going, but it makes you soak up the scenery, doesn't it?
Yeah, stop so you can actually pay attention to what you're going through.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, looking forward to this swim.
The later in the day it gets here, the more vivid colours become on this rocky country. And the wildlife seem to relish the cooler conditions just before evening. Policeman's Waterhole, Joe, we made it.
Finally made it.
What did you think of that track out there?
Ah, it's a bit rugged in terrain.
It was, wasn't it? Very desolate in some of those valleys.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was a good drive though, nice and slow. You could take in the sights.
Yeah.
But you could actually get lost from the 21st century out here, couldn't you?
You definitely could.
And speaking of lost, we kind of got a little bit lost ourselves, didn't we?
Took a bit longer than I was expecting it to be honest.
Thank goodness we've got good GPSs.
Exactly.
Yeah, got us back on track. But where we did get lost was at the Few River campsite. And how would you compare the two where we are now?
This has a lot more water.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Few River was quite dry and not as inviting as the waterhole.
This is definitely the right place.
So let's set up, hey?
Yeah, and then we can go for a swim.
Sounds good. Whatever your preferred camping style is, a quick setup time is imperative after a long day behind the wheel. Also, the waterhole is just one of the sights to check out whilst in this area. Take a stroll around the old ruins for a trip back in history. Since the 1890s, gold prospectors have been picking through this area looking for alluvial gold. Around about the same time on Few River, cattle drovers arrived and they built a homestead right here. So what's interesting about this area, about 10 kilometres south at Hatches Creek, they discovered tungsten. Tungsten is used in hardening steel, and why that is important, in 1914 when the war broke out, there's a great demand for it. It's used in hardening armour and weapons. And what actually happened, they had a bit of problems between the locals and the miners, so that called for some law enforcement. This area here, which was once the old homestead, actually turned into a police station. And it's a pretty tough spot for a police station on a camel. Can you imagine that, doing your rounds on a camel? But come have a look. Time and the elements have taken their toll on the old homestead, with only a handful of stone walls still visible. It would have certainly been a hard slog living out here. But hey, at least they had a reliable source of water right throughout the year. Well, I hope you've enjoyed exploring the Davenport Ranges as much as I have. Coming into the Policeman's Waterhole, if you prefer a more relaxing drive, come from the north, but if you want a more rugged track, come in from the Few River entrance. That'll be much tougher four-wheel driving for you. And on our next episode, we catch up with an old acquaintance with some new places that are yet to be explored.